So I had somebody asking about a reptile room update, and it's been a very long time since I've done one. So I thought I would do this one right now. It's going to be really quick, because I haven't got much time, or memory I should say, on the camera. So yeah, before I start the video, they are all in tubs, and some of them are housed together in these tubs, but I don't keep them in the tubs. They're kept in vivariums, and they're only in these tubs to make it easier to do this particular video. So don't give us any shit about housing them in tubs altogether, because they're not housed this way, they're just here for the video, to make the video easier. Okay? Right, so I'll start off with the rat snakes. So these are yellow rats. So that yellow one right there is the female. She's actually in shed. She's usually like a golden yellow colour. And that dull, boring looking nasty bastard right there is the male. Female is on medium ice now, and the male, I'm still having trouble getting him fed on the size of mice he should have. At his age he should be on medium mice, and at the minute he's still on pinkies. But I don't know why. Guess that's just one of his little quirks. It's what he likes, so that's what I feed him. I'm not going to force feed him anything. As long as he's eating at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. I'm not interested in breeding them, so I'm not trying to bulk feed them or anything like that, or anything bad. So this right here is the male black rat snake. I only have one black rat snake. Here's a black rat snake. He's one of my favourites still. He's about 5 foot long. Very cool snake. Always inquisitive. So very friendly. And he's on extra large mice once every 2 weeks. So yeah, that's him. I'll put that down there very gently. And that's it for the rat snakes. Next is the king snakes. So right here is Meatball. This is the female California king snake that I rescued. Also in shed, as you can see by the eye. She's not really that friendly, but she's never been handled until I got her, so it's not really surprising. She can be handled, but she does like to nip every now and then. Like if you handle her more than 5 or 10 minutes, she tends to turn around and just give you a quick little nip. But she's about 5 foot as well. And she's now on extra large mice every 2 weeks. And when I first got her, all she was eating was medium mice once a week. So she's improved a little bit as far as feeding goes. So yeah. Next I'll move on to Reaper. Now he is constantly, he thinks everything that moves is food. So this is Reaper. It's the male Brooks king snake. And he's also one of my favourites. He's about 5.5 foot long, and he's called Reaper because he has the skull pattern on the top of his head, which I think I've shown in other videos. That's a pretty cool little thing about him. And he's on extra large mice every 2 weeks as well. So yeah, that's Reaper. Full of energy, as you can see. I think he's about one of the only snakes that isn't in shed at the minute. So I'll see if I can get him in there without shutting the lid on him. I don't want to get the other snakes out when he's out, because like I say, he thinks everything that moves is food, and obviously king snakes are well known for eating other snakes. So I'll shut that. And that brings us on to the boa constrictors. And like I say, these on house together, so don't give us any shit. So that's Bim Bim the bastard, the common boa. He looks like he wants to nail us, so I'll be careful around him. And this lovely little creature right here is Alice, the Cuban boa. I'm going to move her into one of these bigger tubs actually, because she's having a bit of, past two sheds she's had a bit of trouble shedding. As you can see, under her neck there's some stuck shed, so I'm going to move her into one of these tubs and I'm going to spray it down, and that's going to give her a lot of humidity. But yeah, Bim Bim, nothing's changed since the last video. And Alice, nothing's changed much since the last video I did on her. So yeah, there's nothing much else I can say on them two really. I mean, I did an update on them about 2 weeks ago, so I can't really do a proper update on them, but I did want to do an update on the whole reptile thing, so I had to include them. Okay, so I'll put Bim Bim back in his tank actually. I'll put the camera down so I can do that, because I can't handle them both. Let's see if I can get there. I've got to step over some boxes, and then I've got to open the tank. And there's Bim Bim. So that's Bim Bim's tank. Like I say, nothing's changed. Pretty simple, water dish, hot side hide, stuff to climb on, and a little heat bulb, and there he goes. Okay, so that's Bim Bim back. Next is the pythons. My pythons are pretty standard and boring as far as other people's goes. They're just royal pythons. So here is Bimo, the male royal. He's on small rats now every 2 weeks. And over there is his girlfriend Chestnut. And she's also on the same size rats every 2 weeks. So yeah. And they're not housed together either, they're always housed separately. I'm planning on moving him actually into one of these size tubs. It's 3 foot by 1.5 foot. Like 3 foot long, 1.5 foot deep, and it's 7 inches high. So I'm thinking about putting him in one of these tubs, and I'm going to put her in one of these tubs, because at the minute she's in a 2 foot by 1.5 foot by 1.5 foot vivarium, and he's in a 2 foot cubed vivarium, and both of these snakes have gone off of the feed. She's been off for 4 months and he's been off for 3 months. So at this time of year they should be eaten, because it is the height of summer. So yeah, I'll just move them into smaller tubs and see what happens. And that's it for the pythons. And last but not least is everybody's favourite, Diesel. So there he is. Diesel Savannah Monitor. He gets a lot to eat. He gets seafood, mice, rat wieners. Main diet consists of bugs and stuff. I shouldn't really handle him without my gloves on, because he tends to rip my hands up with his claws. But there he is. As far as temperament goes, he's still a little bit jumpy. That's my fault for not handling them that much. But yeah, like I said, his main diet consists of insects. He gets cockroaches and what do you call them? Those green worms, like corn worms or something like that. And he gets like mega mealworms, Mario worms I think they're called. And yeah, he also gets dog food once every 6 months as a treat, and boiled eggs. He just gets like calcium powder and vitamin powder as well every now and then, just to help supplement his diet. Yeah, that's as far as the reptiles go. That's all I've got. The rough green snake that died 2 weeks after I got it. Turns out that was wild caught and it had a load of parasites and neurological problems. And the puff-faced water snake that also died after 3 weeks because that was also wild caught and filled with parasites and shit. And yeah. So that's the update on the reptile room. That's all I've got. I'm not planning on getting any more really, though I am planning on getting a false water cobra and a black-tailed crebo. So we'll see what happens with that. I'm also planning on getting another common boa, a female, to breed with